Welcome back to If the Spaghetti Sticks podcast. I am your host, Lauren Ruggiero. The turkeys are out. They are gobbling. And the reason why my podcast is so different compared to everyone else's is because I walk and I talk and there's turkeys in the background. But I walk because I have ADHD severely, and it helps me be more cohesive when I walk, and I can do everything in sort of a timeline way, and it makes more sense when I walk versus when I'm sitting down and just vibing. It helps me also to think of more ideas on the fly because I'm getting my creative juices flowing. There's more blood pumping through my brain, obviously. So here we are. Not every podcast is scripted out at all. I just kind of go off the cuff based off of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. I'm in my 20s, 22 years old. And here we go. Before we begin, doing a shameless self-promo. If you guys like my content and my podcast, please go support me on Patreon. I have different tiers for different levels. I have my photography collection. I have some shorts. They're probably like funny or something dumb. And then I also have weekly videos as well. They're all weekly things, so you should go check that out if you like my content. Jesus, these turkeys, man. Gosh, there's 3 of them and they're all men. Gosh. Yeah, so if you want to go support me, you can go check out my Patreon page. It's called Adventure with Lauren, Patreon. You'll find it. I'll be there. It's a great way to get in contact with me and all the other good things like that. Moving forward, it is sun shining outside, and it has been terribly crappy all week again, and it's been freezing. Today is 40 degrees outside, and it snowed in Yosemite, and we're 4 hours away from Yosemite, so if that's any consolation, I don't know. There's no chance of us getting snow here. However, it's still pretty cold. And the funniest thing is that I was like, oh, it's California. It gets hot pretty soon, right? It's April. It's gonna get hot. So I packed most of my pants and sweatshirts in Haley's car, which Haley shipped to Minnesota because we're road tripping in one car. A little preview for the future videos to come. I have very, limited clothing, but however, I could still pull off a little beanie and a jacket every now and then. But yeah, it's cold, but it's okay because I like the cold. It's getting me more accustomed to when I have to move to the Northeast at the end of August. So that's exciting. Also a little preview of what's to come. At this point, I've probably already gone to the wedding and everything by the time you guys see this, because I like to schedule and pre-do my videos so that I have enough time to film, edit, and get thumbnails and everything ready. So so I would have already been done the wedding and gone to North Carolina, and I'd be back probably by the time you guys see this. So fun stuff to come. In this episode, I wanted to talk more so about summer camp. And I know a lot of you guys have probably seen some of my videos where I talk briefly about summer camp and how it makes me feel. And I did a really long, my entire summer video of summer camp, my very first summer camp. And for a little reference, I never went to summer camp as a kid. I would just go to day camps. Mostly they would be basketball camps, but it was because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she was there to, look after us and everything. So there was no need for camps. And also, judging by it now, seeing the prices for summer camp is outrageous. So I now know why my parents never sent me to summer camp because like it's so expensive to send your kid to summer camp. However, though, the experience that you get there and the amount of growing that you get from it is crazy. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about my experiences and why I love summer camp so much, and also how summer camp saved my mental stability. Okay, so let's flash back to June of 2023. I was very sad trying to figure out who I am, because I just went through, like a month before, I just went through like the hardest breakup of my life. It was so messy. It was just awful. And I hated every second of it. But I had this one thing, which was my new job, which was working at a summer camp. And I interviewed for this position, and I originally sent my application in as like a little funny haha, like I was just like, oh, it's like a summer camp, cool, it's like probably like not much, they probably wouldn't give me much to do it, but it's a videographer job, so like why not? And I just sent it in, and I ended up getting an interview for it, and I interviewed for it, and they liked me, and they took a chance on me, and I thank God every day for them taking a chance on me, because it was the best experience of my life. More to come. So after that interview, I was like, okay, maybe life isn't so bad after all. And so I got my camera equipment. I packed up my suitcase, and I flew to little old Maine. It was literally in the middle of nowhere, Maine. And it was an all-girls summer camp. Again, not knowing what summer camp actually was, and I had no idea of the schedule that it was just going into it blind, full on, ready for anything, camera gear in hand. And they showed me, the place I was going to stay in, the cabin, where I'd be working on my videos, all that jazz, where I'm going to be eating, just kind of the lay of the land type stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of big. This is a big space, lots of stuff to do. I mean, they had like, boats, and they had like tubing stuff and a water park. They had horses and like a ropes course and a Ninja Warrior course, a bowling alley. Like, I mean, this camp was decked out to the brim. And I later came to find that it was one of the best summer camps you can ever go to for like all girls camp. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, like, these kids paid like 15, 16 grand to go to this summer camp. Like, it's a lot. And I didn't know that. I was just like, okay, I'm here, in the outdoorsy. There's, some mosquitoes, and I'm by a lake, and there's a lot of activities and stuff. And then I learned how fast the schedule is, and I was just like, oh, okay, I guess we're just gonna, keep going, keep working, coming up with weekly videos and stuff like that. And I also did some like shorts for social media and stuff, like the Instagram, whatever else. And so I was meeting people from like Ireland. Like, I met like Emma and Chloe, and like I met Nat from England, and I was just meeting all these people from literally everywhere. And they're talking about like their experiences. They're talking about like summer camps in the past, like the seasons and everything. And I'm just like, whoa, have I been missing out? And like, so when you bring all these people from all these places around the world. Like, there's just so much story. There's so much to tell. There's so many things that are different. And when you gain those different perspectives, it's just like an eye-opening experience. So I was amazed at that point on like how many different countries like people were from, and even different states. Like, people came from all over, the counselors at least. And I was just like in this complete shock. And I was just holding the camera, filming everything I could, and kind of throwing stories together, I guess. And my boss loved it. I was capturing everything I can. I was capturing everything I could, and, throwing it together into some concept. And I was just, I had a little bit of an outline of like what videos to make, what to do. But other than that, I had like full reign freedom to create, and I was creating. I was doing it. Yeah, so I was meeting all these people, I was doing all these things. And then they were doing like a bunch of activities with the kids, and I was filming these activities, and it's just like a lot of fun. Like, literally, there's no thinking involved. It's just, you do this and you have a lot of fun, and you're doing it with your friends, and it's just a really amazing experience. And they talk about this feeling at camp where it's literally, it feels just like you're in this blissful bubble for 2 months, right? And I felt it like almost immediately. And I think that's also what helped me in my videos, for my videos to have character, is I like immediately felt the vibe, immediately felt that blissful, peaceful, fun bubble. And I was living in it, and I was loving it. Like, I went from like 0 to 100 on my emotional scale real quick. Like, I went from depressed to like had the happiest I've ever been in my life, because I was just having so much fun, and I was doing what I loved, and people were having fun around me, and everyone was like positive. It was just great. It was really amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do this for the rest of my life. When you're in it and you say these things, it's sometimes you don't mean to say it. And you're like, oh man, I love this like camp environment. Like, I want to do this for a really long time. And I want it to go like year round. Little did I know, not every camp experience is like summer camp. Definitely not throughout the year either, because I'm technically at a camp and I have to teach kids science and stuff, and it's not as fun. The energy is not fun. It's more like learning, and then like the kids complaining that they have to do these activities and stuff. Anyway, there's coyotes barking off in the distance. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so, there's a lot of stuff happening. I learned that not all camps work like that. It's like probably only in the summer camps that really have that vibe, the positivity, the fun. So yeah, this summer camp vibe is like something that I strive for in life. Like, there was a solid base of community. Like, everyone kind of got along together really well. And the community was great because, like, I mean, we were out in the middle of nowhere, right? Like, there wasn't much to do other than like trip days, which were like every Wednesday or so. And then we'd go out and see like other people. But other than that, it was just us. And so that type of kind of loneliness within like this one camp vibe, it was great. It made us, really, really friendly with each other, and we got to do lots of things, and it was just an amazing, incredible experience. And I don't think I couldn't have asked for a better summer, especially after a really tough few months beforehand. And then I, ended up meeting Haley, and, we started kicking stuff off, and then we ended up, U-hauling it to California, where we both, had a job together. So it was it was really fun, you know? And I really strive for that peaceful, blissful adventure fun, and with a solid community. And I think that's what I want most, is that like wherever I want to live, I want to have that like community feeling like you get at summer camp. And I don't really think you can get it any other place except for summer camp, but I want to try at least. So wherever I move to, I just want to have like a community where I can have like friends, and you know, everyone can share their experiences and stuff like that. Like I love that part, because I get to learn from other people's experiences, and then I get to apply it to my own life however I please, you know? But yeah, so like I want to go back. And I hope that when I do go back, it's better than the first time around. I mean, I don't really know. I have a really high standard, I guess. I don't know. It's not really a standard because it's only been like one experience, but still, I think also it was so good because of the low that I had before it. So it kind of, you know, balanced everything out for me, I guess. But I learned so much in that summer. And that's also why I love summer camp, because I got to learn with the kids, you know. And I also got to play my videos every Friday night. And that was my day off, but I would come back just for the Friday night videos because I loved showing what I made in a theater with a bunch of the kids watching themselves. And I loved that aspect of sharing with an audience, right? I mean, like, you know, my goal is to someday, you know, direct a movie or be in a short film or something where I can show it in front of an audience. Because like that feeling that I got when everyone like would laugh at like a kid or whatever they were doing and I filmed it, whenever they would laugh or they would like chant or cheer, like it would just fill me full of joy. And I can't describe the feeling I got from it. It was just so incredible. And it's just something that I don't think that I can ever like recreate ever in my life. Like I will always have those memories and I will always be nostalgic over that, because when I was there and I was in it, it was fantastic. I couldn't have asked for anything better, honestly. Like I didn't even know what I was walking into. So, you know, it was just a great experience. And then, you know, out of that, I got lots of friendships, right? I got like friends all over the world now, which is insane because I always wanted to travel. And when you have friends that are there, they could show you all the best spots, especially like all the good local spots. And it's just really exciting. So hopefully in the future, I can do more traveling and visit those friends and those places like Emma and Chloe in Ireland. But I really want to visit because I really think it would just be a really amazing experience. And it's just crazy that we were all there in those 2 months together. And the even crazier part is it's not going to be the same for any other summer. Like we are all not going to be there again. So many people left and are leaving, including myself. So like not many people are going back. So it's really precious that I get to have that memory that we were all there and we were all experiencing this point in our lives together from, you know, from all different backgrounds. We were all there experiencing it, and it was so beautiful. It's really sad, but also it's so beautiful. I'm kind of going to relate it back to like my camp now. We have this song that we have to sing the kids every week they come, and it's at the end, and it's called like Shooting Star. And the concept of the song is that everyone has shooting stars in their lives. Like you have that moment and then it's gone. But you can always remember that moment after. But it will never be the same ever again in life. But you can always take it with you and tell about that moment in the future. That's kind of what the concept is. And I take that personally because I'm like, it's true. As much as I don't like singing the song, it's true that, like, we will never be in this one spot ever again in our lives. It's really a beautiful thing how life works sometimes. It's very sad because I will never get to feel that blissfulness, that magic, as some people call it, again in that way that I felt it. It's going to be different. So in the future, when I have more camp experiences, I am excited. I'm going to keep an open mind because when you're very closed-minded or you compare, it ends up not being good. Because, how I went into it, I didn't know anything. And that was the best experience because I didn't know, I didn't have anything to compare it to. So that was like my first ever experience, right? And so now when I have another camp experience, it's hard to not compare it to it, So in the future, I'm going to try not to compare it so much because it was like the best thing ever to me. But also to keep an open mind that where I am in my life is never going to be the same. And so I have to figure out a way to enjoy it as much as possible so that I can look back on it and say, you know what, it was fun. And try not to compare it to the things that I have had in my past. So it's really hard. And I think we do that a lot with other things in our lives. We compare it to experiences that we've had, different things. Like especially if we enter in a new relationship, all of that dirt from your past relationship slowly sprinkles in. Because, either they're like you get more defensive with something or like you got PTSD from this one thing and this one thing triggers you. We're always carrying past stuff into new moments. And it can ruin it sometimes. So I'm really working on trying to make new experiences, good experiences, and compare it less to the experiences I have in my past. And honestly, trying to do that is super hard. However, it's really good. It's really good for you. And it makes the experience overall better. It really does. Like, once I leave this job, once I leave this place of work, I will never, ever be back here ever again in my life. I have to take it as best as it comes and savor the really good memories that I've made. Whether that be like the groups of kids that I've had or the chaperones that I've met, something. I do want to say though, this week I taught some 5th graders and we were sitting down in a rock kind of gravel lot like this, but there was like grass on each side and there was curb stumps. So it was like a parking lot. And one of the kids sat down and then they instantly got up and screamed. And I was like, oh my God, who died? I was preparing myself for the worst situation. And they're like, oh my God, it's a snake. And I was like, oh no. I was trying not to poop my pants here. And so I go over and I evaluate the situation as one does when you're in charge of people and you're a naturalist and you're supposed to like snakes and nature and stuff. And no, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love nature. However, snakes, spiders, no, I just, no. Anyways, I look down at the situation and I see this huge snake huge snake, long too. It was a huge, long snake. And I was like, oh my God. This is a giant gopher snake. And so I was like, I was like, this is the biggest snake I've ever seen, like, not in a petting zoo. You know, like that guy who's holding up the anaconda and is like, oh, you want to put this snake on your shoulder? And you're like, no. Yeah, it was like that. A little bit smaller, but it was like that. And it was just out in the open. It was just running. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, and like the kids got closer. I was like, okay, guys, let's just like back up. Because, you know, snake or gopher snakes bite. So let's just like take a little chill on that one. Anyway, so yeah, like experiences like that, like you'll never get ever again. Because I don't foresee myself teaching nature to people ever again. However, like that's just one of the experiences that I now get to tell people when they asked me what I did in California. I'm like, well, you know, I did lots of things. I had lots of like labels on my job. Like I was a garden naturalist, and I was a naturalist, and a social media coordinator, and you know, all three of those jobs are different. So there is a coyote, full blown. I just saw it run. Okay. Anyway, yeah, nature, lovely. But yeah, so I think, you know, definitely taking these experiences with an open mind is something that's super important. Anyways, I'm super excited to go home, mostly due to the fact that I am just ready for a clean environment, and also to see my family and my cat. Oh my gosh, do I miss my cat. I'll tell you what, my grandma's dog died a few days ago, and it was very sad. It's like, because she had that dog for like a while, and my cat is old, right? It's like almost as old as that dog was. And so like I got super nervous. I was like, oh my God, like I'm not going to see my cat again. Like, you know, she's not even going to see me before she goes. Like, it's like a whole thing. Like, she thinks I abandoned her. Like, my brain runs at like 1.21 megawatts a second. Super fast, like freaking lightning. And I psych myself out. I freak myself out. And in these situations, I lose control, right? Because I'm just spiraling at this point. And so I have Haley help calm me down and everything. But still, it's just like, man, like, you know, I'm missing out, you know, and I miss my cat so much. There's so many times where like, I'm just like, man, I wish my cat can just lay on my chest. Because like, when a cat lays on your chest, they like know that you're full of anxiety, and like you need that pressure, and their purr helps you with that as well. And Rosie used to do that to me all the time. #anxiety. No, but Rosie used to do that to me all the time, and it helped me so much because I was like, man, this cat really loves me. Like, this cat is so sweet. And I miss that because there's so many times here, at least, where I have so much anxiety or I have like a stress headache. And I'm like, man, I just want my cat to lay on my chest. It's one of those moments. And I'm like fighting with this idea of having pets in my new place or not. Because, I mean, pets are great. However, when they leave, it destroys you. And I know when Rosie is gonna leave, like it's gonna really mess me up. Like it's gonna wreck me for quite a while. Like it's hard when you lose a pet, for sure. I know when I was in second grade and my mom's cat died, and I had a bond with her, and I went to school and I didn't do anything in school. I literally just sat at my desk and I was like crying. And it was hard, you know, those things are really hard, and there's really no way to like deal with it. Like, you know, nobody gives you tools to equip you with these kinds of situations. Like, they don't teach you this stuff in school Why? Because it's all government crap. Anyway, that's a podcast for another time. The whole school system and the ideology behind that. But anyways, I'm excited to see my brother and Casey, his girlfriend. They're always like the highlight. I'm like, all right, guys, we're all in this big potluck together. You know, we're all struggling and trying to find jobs that we like and, you know, trying to start lives and everything. Like, how are we going to do it this time? If you're looking to work at a summer camp, I strongly suggest it. But make sure that the summer camp pays you right and doesn't screw you over, because I've also seen that too. So make sure, you know, you go to a good summer camp, and then you'll have a really good experience. You get to hang out with kids, and the kids will teach you stuff. Like, I've learned from the kids a lot, and it also like helps you be more like your kid self, I guess, your inner child. And it's really nice to just kind of have a summer to just chill, but like also work with kids. Like, it's really kind of cool. They will get annoying though sometimes, but the majority of it is really good, high experience quality. But yeah, if you're young in your 20s, I highly recommend you go work at a summer camp, because A, it's money. B, it's like free room and board, so you can literally pick any place around the country and it'll like cover your food and board, which is a great way to travel. And yeah, like literally you'll have like such good experiences, or at least you'll learn a lot of things. If you don't have good experiences, you'll learn a lot of things, which is the whole point of life, right? Maybe it's just for me. I don't know. A lot of people have different kind of goals, I guess. But yeah, you know, at this point, I'm just trying to figure out life, trying to figure out summer plans and after summer plans with the whole moving my first apartment things. And it's crazy. So I'm just kind of throwing spaghetti against that wall, seeing if those spaghetti noodles stick, and keep on trucking, I guess. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you did, give it a comment, like, and if you're on Spotify, give it a 5-star review. I hope you guys have a marvelous, wonderful day wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. And I will see you guys all in the next podcast. Bye, guys.